Trump pulls U.S. funding from the World Health Organization. Was it overdue or a distraction? And what will China do? This is China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. Well, it's finally happened. After threatening to pull U.S. funding to the World Health Organization, President Trump finally made good on those threats.
Today I'm instructing my administration to halt funding of the World Health Organization while a review is conducted to assess the World Health Organization's role in severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus. Everybody knows what's going on there.
I mean, yeah, I totally do. And I bet you do too. For weeks, I've been talking about the incredible levels of corruption within the WHO, and even a lot of the problems with the leadership of the WHO. During that coronavirus task force press briefing, Trump talked about a lot of those issues. That the U.S. provides more funding than any other country. That the WHO actively discouraged countries from issuing travel bans, which resulted in the deaths of thousands. And the fact the WHO never criticized the Chinese Communist Party for silencing whistleblowing doctors, like Dr. Li Wenliang. Dr. Li tried to raise the alarm about the coronavirus early on, but was silenced by communist authorities.
Instead, the WHO willingly took China's assurances to face value, and they took it just at face value, and defended the actions of the Chinese government, even praising China for its so-called transparency. I don't think so.
Wow, he's still got some of that world wrestling spirit in him. Last year, the U.S. contributed $900 million to the WHO's $5.6 billion budget, which is about 15%. Now, I'm sure this won't surprise you, but Trump's decision to pull funding from the WHO has been heavily criticized by the Chinese Communist Party. State-run media called it blackmail, without mentioning the part about how Trump only temporarily suspended funding.
While a review is conducted to assess the World Health Organization's role in severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus.
The Chinese Communist Party unconditionally defended the WHO, and they should. Friends help each other out, like how the WHO helped the Communist Party cover up the coronavirus. Meanwhile, WHO Director General Dr. Tedros tweeted, "Love. Also, stronger together." And confidence. Is he trying to tweet like Trump? Tedros needs to learn how to use all caps. And how to stop believing the Chinese Communist Party. But Chinese state-run media then tried to frame Trump's actions as illegitimate, a desperate attempt to distract from his own failure to contain the coronavirus. We actually did a pretty in-depth look at the Trump administration's coronavirus response on our other show, America Uncovered. The episode is called, "Did Trump Botch the Coronavirus Response?" And yes, we have a whole nother YouTube channel just focused on American issues. It's not shocking that Chinese state-run media criticized Trump for suspending WHO funding. What is shocking is that many Western media companies, like the New York Times, also latched onto that same propaganda narrative. In fact, the New York Times indirectly praised China's response to the coronavirus, saying that, brutal as they were, China's tactics ultimately worked, adding that public health experts called it an unparalleled success. Sure, if you believe the Chinese Communist Party. Let's take a look at that unparalleled success inside China. Someone should tell Chinese authorities this is not how to do social distancing. And on top of those brutal and counterproductive methods for stopping the coronavirus, China is now facing a new wave of infections, or as unnamed experts vaguely referred to in the New York Times call it, an unparalleled success. Some people are worried that if the U.S. stops funding the WHO, then that could leave another global initiative under China's influence. Which sounds bad, right? Except that the WHO is already under China's influence and has been for years. For more details, check out our China Uncensored episode, Coronavirus, How WHO Corruption Helped It Spread. And also our episode, Should WHO Head Resign Over Coronavirus Cover-Up? By mid-January, the coronavirus had already spread to other countries. But the WHO was still repeating the Chinese Communist Party's narrative that it couldn't be passed between humans. And it took the WHO until March to actually call it a pandemic. Should the US be paying nearly $900 million a year, more than any other country, to a corrupt organization that does the bidding of a communist regime? FYI, China contributes less than 0.25% to the WHO budget. So if the US withdraws funding, then will China really be able to take over the WHO? Take it over more, I mean. Well, if you argue that money means influence, wouldn't influence instead just fall to the second biggest contributor? Let's see, that's, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In fact, the Gates Foundation is now upping their contribution to the WHO by $150 million. Super! But don't worry, because while the Chinese government contributes next to nothing financially, it still has more influence over the WHO than anyone else. I mean, they got the WHO to believe whatever they said about the coronavirus and to constantly praise them. And the WHO has been more than willing to do China's bidding by discriminating against Taiwan. If anything, pulling away a significant chunk of the WHO's funding and doing a systematic review of WHO corruption is one of the best ways to make meaningful change. And if it doesn't make the WHO change, at least the US won't be throwing $900 million a year at an organization that does the bidding of the same regime that caused a deadly global pandemic. So what do you think? Leave your comments below. And a special thank you to our fans who help support China Uncensored by contributing $1 or more per episode through the crowdfunding website Patreon. Seriously, we could not make this show without you. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching China Uncensored.